Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. My name is Jacob and today we have another unboxing video. So this box is it says it's a plastic model in the product description. It's from Japan. Let's see specifically where it is from in Japan. It is from Etimi. Matsuyama Etimi Kiyosumit. You know what? I don't even know. It's from some town in Japan. And yeah, let's get right to it. Gently, we're gonna use a little scalpel knife, and we're going to slice and dice this tape, and that should open up our box pretty easily. So I actually don't remember what's in here. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so what we've got in here so far, got some paper. So what we're gonna do is take off the paper, and okay, got ourselves what I'm guessing is a MonsterArts. Yes. This is the MonsterArts. Where is the English translation? Maybe I should just open the damn box first. Mothra and Rodan 2019 figures. So yep. I was expecting these. I wasn't expecting it to be quite such a thin, flat box. So this took a long time to get to me. They didn't post this out for so long. I don't even know why. But whatevs. It's here now. Finally arrived. I'm very late to the party with this one because I know everyone and their grandmother has already done a review of these two figures and has shown photos all over Facebook and all that sort of jazz. And here's me only getting this thing now. But I did pre-order these before they were released, so yeah, it's not my fault. It's the seller's fault for not posting these out. So, alright. MonsterArts Rodan and Mothra from the 2019 movie Godzilla King of the Monsters. So, our very first Western Rodan and Mothra figures from MonsterArts. So, let's just break through this tape around the front here. It's a little tricky with these little notches. We can see these guys in person, yes. Okay, come on. Nice, okay. Here we go. I see our box. There's our box. Mothra and Rodan. So I'm assuming these guys are going to be very small. One, because this box is light. It is very light. And two, because I've seen them next to the NECA figures, like in photos, and I have the NECA figures. If they're anything like those ones, they're tiny. Okay. Let's have a look at this box here. Yeah, nice looking box. I got a Rodan there looking really good. And there's a Mothra there. I have mixed feelings on this Mothra design. I pretty much only with the back legs. But again, in the movie, she was great. So I'm not going to dawdle on about that. But the paintwork on this figure, from what I've seen in photos at least, and like in these photos here, wings are great and all that, but the body is like this weird color orange, and like she doesn't have the white around her eyes, which is a bit odd. But yeah, there's a box, a double pack of figures. I like that they come in a double pack. I'm sure some people out there might be a little bit pissed off because they'd prefer just a cheaper, smaller pack for each one, because like if you want Rodan but you don't want Mothra and vice versa. But I think for the most part this is going to satisfy most people. So I usually open the bottom of these boxes just to keep the top looking nicer. Yeah, okay. No having to fiddle around with rulers with these two. So, I can already smell the plastic. And here we go. Anything else in there? There's actually, before we look at the figures, there is instrucciones. This is just, looks like it's, oh yeah, for the stands and how to do that sort of stuff. So there we go. There's our instructions, all in Nihon, Japanese. Okie dokie. I'm going to ignore those because who needs instructions? Am I right? All packaged up, and Rodin actually looks a little bigger than I was expecting. He looks a little bit bigger than the NECA one, which in photos he looked smaller, so that's odd to me, but I like that. And Mothra looks about the same size as the NECA figure, actually. So, yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I guess we'll open them up, and hopefully all this stuff won't fall everywhere. And we can take a in-hands, close-up, personal look at these two figures. So, there we go. Ooh, very, very plasticky scent-wise. Okay, just make sure none of the stands roll around, and we'll pick up the figures. So I guess we'll go for Rodan first, because he's our big boy out of these two, and I absolutely loved Rodan in this movie. This is my favorite moments in King of the Monsters are probably the scenes with Rodan, especially when he first emerged. So yeah, without even fiddling with his articulation, here is our Rodan. Now I hope that the autofocus will work okay in this lighting. Okay, so there's a little Rodin's face there. Love the look of his eyes and that cheeky expression of his. Looking really cool. Great detailing along the wings. There's a very sort of magma, crusted over magma type of looking wing patterns, which really looked cool in the film. We've got his belly down here, all this sort of articulation that I'm going to mess with in a second, and we'll look around the back here. Sorry again that the details aren't coming out that great here. I'll probably do a full review of these in the near future. So this is probably just going to be a little video just to kind of quickly show my unboxing, and then I'll properly do a full review where I can get better lighting and get better close-ups and all that of this figure. But now this is just kind of my initial thoughts. His jaw moves. That's good. The NECA figure, it had detachable heads, and his jaw didn't move, and like I said, this one is bigger. He's bigger than the NECA figure, so that's kind of a first, because for the most part, MonsterArts and NECA figures the other way around. MonsterArts usually the smaller, more detailed ones, with better articulation, whereas NECA figures are the bigger, bulkier, slightly less accurate, sometimes very, very inaccurate, less articulated ones. But in this instance, we got a slightly bigger Rodan from MonsterArts, so I like that. Although I kind of would have preferred the NECA MonsterArts to have been a bit bigger, but whatevs. The lighting's not that great for me either, guys, so I'm having a little bit trouble seeing his details that well. But he looks really nice. Now, one concern and thing that has been floating around about this guy is his paintwork. It's very bland, and indeed it is. It's pretty bland. He's lacking. He looks like he's just painted straight brown, with no real details apart from the eyes painted in and his pink tongue. So that is a little bit sad, but not the worst thing in the world. And also, like I said, the lighting, even though it might look kind of okay on camera, it's actually like really glary in my eyes, having like the lamp so close. So it makes it kind of hard to see the painted details that well. So I'll yeah, spend more time with this guy looking at him properly. His wings seem as to be a similar type of plastic as the NECA figure, so a harder sort of plastic for the wings, but the rest of his body seems to be the more typical sort of MonsterArts kind of plastic. Yeah, I like the neck articulation. You can kind of see a little bit of gapping going on when you mess with it, but I do like the firmness of those ball joints, and again, if you don't mess with them too much like I was, then you're not going to be having all those issues with the head popping off. Yeah, 'cause nice firm ball joint there, feels really good to articulate. Let's see, the wings is kind of my concern, because the NECA figure has really loose wing joints. They always sag. This guy has nice firm feeling joints in his shoulders. Now, unfortunately, because this guy is a winged figure, it's really difficult. MonsterArts have tried lots of different methods to like do wings, like try to make them articulate down the middle and all sorts of weird contrived ways, and seems like they just went back to having like a solid wing shape, which, you know, fair enough, because like the other Rodan figure they put out had a articulating wings, and that didn't work so well. The Destroyer also, they tried to add articulating wings, and kind of worked, kind of didn't. It was a bit of fiddly. But the sad thing is that for the most part, if you want his wings in any sort of interesting pose, they're going to be huge gaps between his body and his wings here, which I don't like. So I'm probably going to have my Rodan's wings pushed in as close as they can be to his main body to try and close up those gaps. Also, this guy's tail is a lot better than the NECA figures, because he's actually got the wide flap for his tail. His horns are actually floppy. It's kind of funny. Look at that. Wait. Look at that. They're just kind of dancing. So he's kind of a softer plastic, but it does work for this figure. Let me just have a look at his face. Sorry, I'm very blind, so I can see things close up, but not far away without my glasses. But it means I can see his details a lot better this way. Yeah, details look good. The details aren't too different from the NECA figure, because I think they both use the CGI data from the film mainly to construct this design. So for this one, again, it's a little bit bigger. Also, like, you know, his claws and his legs look really cool as well. His legs are a little bit more beefy on this one as well. So, and the articulation is better. So that is really promising. I like that. Awesome. Okay, so there's that, our Rodan. Let's move on to our Mothra. She even has little plastic sleeves between her wings to keep them separate. That is nice and good care for this figure. Oh wow, she's tiny. She feels like a real insect just being at this size. So I'm going to remove these sleeves. She comes with, look at her beautiful wings. But she comes with these little plastic sleevelets right here, which we can remove. Just plastic squares like tape with no stickiness, basically. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to briefly take a look at her, and then I'll tell you what I think. So yeah, she looks just like she did in a lot of the photos. The wings look nice. They actually have texture to them as well, kind of like the NECA one. Smells very plasticky. And her legs are made of a soft plastic, which is actually a relief. These ones you're not going to have to worry about breaking, because look at that. These are just soft, fairly soft plastic, so they're not going to snap off on you, which is great. Very tiny body. Does she have any articulation in her body? Her big pincery front legs here have ball joints, but they're really soft, so to move them, it's a little bit weird, but you can see that there. So these do move. Okay, so she does have some. These may or may not. The other ones, I don't really feel it. But yeah, she's tiny, tiny, tiny. The wings are the stars of this figure. Like, look at that. Much more clearer, the wing patterns on this figure than the NECA one. And let's see if they articulate. So I'm scared. They do have ball joints. Oh my god, okay. I mean, I knew they would, it's just they're so tiny, and the wings are pretty big, at least the big wings. The little ones do as well, so they just have like a little ball joint at the end that's stuck into her body, so you probably can't see that there, but you can see her wings lifted a bit. And I like the shape of her wings. They actually have more of like a little bit of a rounded shape to them, more like an organic wing. So NECA's ones wings, like the NECA figure is a great representation of this Mothra, but I've seen a lot of people like bend the wings to add a bit of a curve to them, but this she's got more of like a natural airfoil shape to them, like an actual sort of flying creature would. So there you go. There's a little tiny MonsterArts Mothra, and man, especially considering these are meant to be in scale together, like, I don't know, I don't remember them being quite this size difference in the film. I feel like the Rodan that we got with our NECA set might actually scale better with this Mothra, because this Rodan feels a bit more chunky than he did compared to this Mothra, because they actually had a proper jewel in the film, but this figure feels so tiny compared to this Rodan, who actually kind of feels like a proper MonsterArts. Like, he's still tiny, but he's a bit of a more chunky boy compared to our little Mothra girl here. Okay guys, so I brought in MonsterArts Godzilla and NECA Mothra and NECA Rodan. So we'll be able to see all of these guys together and see how they scale up. So yeah, I was right. NECA Rodan is a lot smaller. So there's our NECA Rodan. You can also see he does have a lot more paintwork to him. I'm not entirely impressed with the paintwork on him, but it is a little bit more. He does look a little bit more beef jerky, like with the browns and the reds going on, the slight oranges. But here's our MonsterArts one. Kind of hard to put them in frame together. Maybe like this. I don't know. Does that work? You tell me. So yeah, MonsterArts NECA. Look at that. Two figures here. Very similar again in the detail, because I think they use the same CGI model. Just holding them together. I definitely do like the detailing on the MonsterArts more, at least on the body. The wings and the NECA are actually pretty damn good, especially like yeah, the detailing in some parts on the wings of the NECA actually looks a little bit better than some parts of the MonsterArts, which is yeah, good work NECA. But the body and the face, I'd say the MonsterArts has that in the bag. And also the tail on the MonsterArts is better. It's a lot more accurate because it has like that diamond-shaped fin, as you can kind of make out here, whereas the NECA, they kind of cut it weirdly, where they just made it a strip, even though the sculpt for that kind of diamond shape is still kind of in the wings. And yeah, the articulation is really floppy for the NECA, so he falls. They also added the cuts in the wings to make him do this, which I think, you know, good attempts. Like it's not much you can do with it, so it's a good attempt. But I still kind of prefer the MonsterArts approach of just having a full, uninterrupted sculpt on the wing here. So I do like both figures, but at the moment I am leaning towards the MonsterArts, and I just love that face. Beautiful face on the MonsterArts. This is still the NECA Rodan, and if we bring in our Mothra here, our Mothra scales a bit better with this Rodan, because Rodan is a little bit smaller, so I can kind of picture them battling it out a bit better. The funny thing is, the NECA Mothra looks bigger. So here's the NECA Mothra. She has these translucent wings, which is a great touch, but the patterning on them is a lot less interesting looking, and the wings are also a lot more flat, so they're lacking a bit of that nice organic curve, but detail wise again beautiful. So it's a NECA set. You can tell this Mothra is bigger, the NECA ones. Detailing wise again, this NECA Mothra is beautiful. So it really is just the paintwork. Geez, lots of figures to juggle in this little quick unboxing. Oh man. So the paintwork between these two is vastly different. So MonsterArts underside of her wings, NECA at the top here. So NECA has much bigger, sort of more straightened out wings. You can see this one's, she's got a bit more of a curve to them, more of that sort of natural airfoil shape, whereas this one's pretty much flat, so it's like really flat right there, whereas this one doesn't quite flatten out that much. Yeah, the patterns aren't even the same on these wings. They're kind of different, so I'm gonna assume that the MonsterArts got it more accurate just because I'm a little bit biased towards MonsterArts and they do put a bit more care into the detailing. None of them got like the white around the eyes correct. I think NECA got a bit closer, but the MonsterArts did put like a white color on her antennae, which are also kind of on her face. The MonsterArts, you can tell it's a more quality figure, but the NECA, for the price it is compared to this one, is still good value. A very well done version of this figure, and they're both so tiny. That's funny. I'm happy that this Mothra came in a double pack with the Rodan, actually, because if this was a figure on its own, that would be pretty damn sad. It's kind of like the double pack of Kamata-kun and Shinagawa-kun that we got with our King Ghidorah figure. Not King Ghidorah, what am I talking? Shin Godzilla, those two versions. Even that pack was still lacking in bulk of figures, if that makes sense. So this one's still a little light, because Rodan is pretty small, but at least he has big wings. Pretty damn cool. I'm so happy these finally arrived, because I really loved these kaiju from the film. So I'm so happy finally got this figure in. And just quickly before we end this little video, I'm gonna try and show you them next to our Godzilla MonsterArts on this movie, just so we can see them next to each other. So there's our Rodan next to our Godzilla, looking pretty good, pretty damn good. This Rodan definitely scales better with this Godzilla, I feel, than the NECA one, which seemed a little small next to this guy. And if we get our Mothra, she is so tiny. Look at that. Man, her body is like the size of Godzilla's head. It's so small. But yeah, really happy these arrived. It looks beautiful, these two figures. I'm gonna spend a lot more time with them, just looking over them, pros and cons, and I'll try and put out a full review of these in the near future if I have time and all that sort of jazz, and when there's proper lighting of proper close-ups and all of that, and less fiddling around. Okay, So that is it, guys. That is my unboxing video of our SH MonsterArts, very, very overdue unboxing of our SH MonsterArts Mothra and Rodan 2019 set. I'm so happy these arrived. I'm really happy with these figures, and I want to spend more time in better lighting because the glare from this lamp's really kind of blinding me right now. See you guys in a bit. Bye.